what are the main changes to asylum rules we have seen recently? For example, the final rule by Department of Homeland Security and Department of Justice that restricts asylum eligibility for certain unauthorized entrants.
Yeah, so a lot of things have been happening in 2025. So I think what you're talking about is the circumvention of lawful pathways that actually started under the prior administration and has really been used in this administration as well. It's a final rule, and it says that there's this presumption that you are not eligible for asylum if you entered the southern border without permission. So that, or you try to kind of go around legal pathways. So when we're talking about people who entered without inspection, and the dates for that are people who entered between May of 2023 up until May of 2025. And that is what they are saying there is if you entered and you didn't have permission to enter and you didn't use the lists, and there's the CBP1 app, and you didn't try to get an interview at that border, then you do not qualify for asylum. Now, there are ways to try to combat this, but that's generally the rule that they've been using to kind of quell what they believe to be this, influx of people requesting asylum at the southern border.
So do you think because of these changing the initial screenings or maybe the interviews that are happening later also being harder now?
Yeah, so a lot of things have been happening. So the good thing about asylum law is that written law, right? It's not a policy. And so there are things that we obviously as a country have to adhere to. And that can't just be taken apart just because of the political ideas of one party or the other party. And so that is good. But there are things that are happening to make it more difficult for people to be able to request asylum. So one of the things is the circumventing of legal pathways, trying to quell the alleged kind of influx of individuals seeking asylum. There's also the idea that there is a lot of asylum fraud, which I don't necessarily believe the numbers are there, but that is a narrative that is happening where they believe that people just ask for asylum for the sake of asking for asylum, but proving that you categorically should be given asylum is difficult. And so it is becoming more and more difficult because they are limiting the individuals who, number one, can apply for asylum through these legal pathways. Number two, this one's been going on for a while, but the 1-year filing deadline, right? So you have to have filed your asylum application within 1 year of entering the country. And more recently, and kind of happening a little bit more bit by bit, is the Board of Immigration Appeals and the immigration courts determining that specific don't necessarily fall within what is called the particular social group. So those groups that sometimes don't fit into religion or political opinion or nationality or race, but they are being targeted for other reasons. Those groups in 2024 has become more difficult. One recent example would be there are many people who identify as women coming from certain countries are being targeted not only because they are women or because they are unmarried women or they're women viewed as property. There are all these things that are happening within the society where they're living that makes them a target and their government can't protect them. And that is being kind of pulled back, and it's being made more difficult to determine whether a woman in certain areas under certain conditions would qualify for asylum based on what's happening to her in her country.